Paranormal Pete, and I'm on a journey to seek answers to the questions that have crossed all of our minds. What happens to us when we die? Is there an afterlife? I'm a regular guy who discovered the gift of psychic mediumship in my 30s. My passion for history and the unknown have put me right here, right now. My mantra for anything paranormal is, we don't know much and anything is possible. Join me as we find our way through the stories, evidence, and experiences of the paranormal and beyond in search of answers, even if that leads to more questions. Are you with me? Hey everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea, and this is episode 50. Dun, 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 dun. Can't believe it, 50th episode. All right, so exciting. Thanks everybody for the support in the show, for listening, and it's very humbling and excited for the 50th episode, and I'll be excited for the 100th one as well. So thanks for tuning in each week, Tuesday nights on WLTK-DB.com. Let's Talk Paranormal Radio. Make sure you check out the website. If you're not watching on there, make sure to check out. There's all kinds of great shows on there. And thanks, Michael. Shout out to Michael. He's producer for the show. So be sure, check out all the shows on the station. There's programming Monday through Friday and lots of interesting topics that are being discussed. So if you have an open mind, this is the place to be. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Paranormal Pete Show. And you can also watch live as well on the station's Facebook page at facebook.com/WLTK-DB. And we're also on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. And if you're like most of us and really busy, maybe you're not catching the live broadcast, but if you want to catch the archive version, you get those. You can rewatch it on YouTube or the Facebook pages, or get the audio version at WLTK-DB.com. And you can also find it all over, wherever you get your favorite streaming services from, Spotify, Apple, Google, Podbean, wherever that may be. You can find the show. It's all under WLTK-DB. And tonight I'm actually coming to you from the East Coast, and I'm on Amelia Island down in Florida, and which is a very nice change of scenery from Washington. I actually saw the sunshine today and an amazing moonrise tonight. Coming up over the Atlantic Ocean, and it was so cool. So happy to be here in Florida, coming to you from here, but I miss home. And shout out to my beautiful wife, Molly, and kids. And I'll miss you guys, and I'll see you soon. And thanks to everybody out there for watching. Well, tonight I've got special guest Ginger Lockwood, and who's a Bigfoot experiencer. And we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll see if we can get her on tonight. And if not, I'll definitely reschedule with her, because she's had some amazing experiences, and I want to be able to share those with everybody watching and listening. Got a few things coming up. I have the Oregon Ghost Conference. Happy to announce that I'm going to be a speaker this year. It's March 25th through 27th. In Seaside, Oregon, and what a fun conference, really cool setting. Seaside's fun and has a really cool history too. So I'll be announcing a speaking topic soon, but honored to be amongst all the other speakers. And so go to OregonGhostConference.com. So that's www.OregonGhostConference.com. Looks like it might be a little while till we get Ginger on, having some technical difficulties. But so the Oregon Ghost Conference, and then I've got the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, of course, that's coming up November 11th through 13th. And I'll be posting updates to the website for that soon. So stay tuned, or stay tuned to this Facebook page, Paranormal Pete Show. And I'll post updates there for the conference. And looking to have another great conference this year. Really enjoyed last year. I guess I'm really excited to go to the Oregon Ghost Conference. It was virtual last year, but excited to see everybody and to be able to be a speaker. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, I want to give a shout out to station manager Todd Bates, host of Haunted Voices, right here on WLTK-DB.com. And again, make sure you guys go through the website. There's a lot of cool stuff there. There's a lot of station merch you can get. So if you like the station and the shows that's coming out, get some stuff and show your love for the station. And you can get shirts and cups and all whatever you can think of. It'll be on there. So yeah, so that's what I've got coming up, and I want to thank everybody for listening. I've been hanging out with a bunch of coworkers today, so I'll give a shout out to them if any of them are watching, and having a great time with everyone. So, well, since we're having some technical difficulties tonight, hopefully we'll get the guest on soon. If not, we'll definitely reschedule her. But we'll kind of do a free topic. So if anybody has any questions about the paranormal or psychic mediumship, go ahead and get on the chat room on the website, or wherever you're watching from. You can submit a question. Just type it in the comments. I will see it, and we'll go from there. One thing I thought we could talk about tonight was, an approach to a paranormal investigation from a psychic mediumship standpoint, and kind of, what you can do, maybe if you're, you don't know you're psychic yet, or if you are sensitive or empath, and, how would you approach an investigation? And then we'll talk a little bit about evidence review, something we've talked about, I think, towards the beginning of last year. What to do with all of the data that you collect. But if anybody has any questions, just fire them away on the comment. So, when you're approaching an investigation, the first thing ask, is it really an investigation, or is someone looking for something specific? What is, like, a client? What is a client approaching you about? And maybe you're on a team, maybe you're not, maybe you kind of do your own thing. Someone contacts you to check out their house, or a building they own, or a property. And, one thing, you want to determine is, is this an investigation, or is this, are they just looking for one thing? Are they looking for confirmation? Do you get a feeling that this person or people are just looking for confirmation on their experience, what they're having? So, kind of feel that out. And we do have a question here from Janice. Thanks for watching. And she asks, when did you first know that you had psychic abilities? That's a good question. Thanks for asking. Let's see. When did I know? So this all started at the Oregon Ghost Conference for me, I think. It may have started sooner, but it was definitely, my eyes were opened at the Oregon Ghost Conference, and I think that was in 2013. I'll be honest, I was very skeptical of psychics and mediums growing up. And I've mentioned on the show before, I think it's just because I didn't have much exposure to it. So because I didn't know it, I was skeptical of it, right? I think that's kind of a human reaction that we have. So it all started at the Oregon Ghost Conference, and it was in Oregon City at the time. And I decided to get my first ever psychic reading, and by a guy named Seth Michael from White Light Paranormal Insights. And I've had him on the show too. He's one of my first guests. And so basically I decided to get a psychic reading that I never had that done before. And I sat down with him, and he wrote a bunch of things down on his notepad, and then said that I was going to do my own reading. And I kind of was a little confused. I didn't know that it worked like that. And so, he had me just kind of close my eyes and, what did I see? He said, there's somebody there for you. What do you see? Just be open to it. And so I described what I saw was this older Native American man, and long hair, and kind of described prominent cheekbones, and kind of sunken cheeks underneath. And then he says, okay, well, what else is with him? What else is there? And I see this horse. And okay, well, what does the horse look like? And so it was a tan and white Appaloosa. And so that's about as far as I got at that point. And then he showed me his notes, and it was everything I just said. And right then, I thought my stomach sank, and had just a crazy feeling in my stomach all through my body. So I guess that was probably the start of it, because I knew something was going on, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. Later on, after I come home, telling my wife Molly about this crazy experience, and and also during that weekend at the Oregon Ghost Conference, there was a tour in Oregon City, and I saw where somebody had died, and asked people around me, before we were at a certain tour stop, and I asked the people, around me, if this certain type of person had died here, and because I saw it was fleeting, but I saw this person, and it was confirmed at that point. Yes, this type of person did perish right here, and my stomach sank even further. But I ended up going home, and telling my wife about all how I was feeling and everything. And kind of from then on, I found my biological dad after that, which kind of explained some things in regards to the psychic mediumship. And then after that, it was like anybody that came over to our house for dinner or just to hang out, someone's great aunt would show up, and I would get the person's name, maybe how they passed on, and just detailed things about them. And it just kind of went from there. So it was right around 2013 at the Oregon Ghost Conference, when that all went down. And we've got a couple more questions. Thanks, everybody. Corey, thanks for watching. And have you heard of any recent Bigfoot or Dogman sightings? Not in my area. I've never heard of, at least in my area up in Washington, I've never heard of Dogman sightings in my area, but I think there have been some in Western Washington. Bigfoot sightings. Well, I'm next to the Olympic Peninsula, and as we all know, that's a pretty hopping place for old Mr. Bigfoot there. But I haven't heard of any recent sightings or been told about any. I'm sure there are. There's probably a lot of people out there right now who've had some sort of experience or sighting and just haven't said anything yet. But I will definitely post if I hear of anything cool especially in my area there. But thanks for asking, Corey, and thanks for watching. Got another one here from Lisa. Thanks for watching. Who can help tell me what is knocking on my door, whistling outside my house, and growling outside my house? Well, Lisa, if you're still watching, can you tell by any way what kind of growl it is? Would you compare it to a dog? Would you compare it to another kind of animal? I think if you have a game cam or a trail cam, it would be, or if you have one of those Ring doorbell, try and see if you can get something on video, and make sure that you're writing down what you experience and when you experience it. That would be very important if it keeps happening, to give to an investigator or a researcher. So it'd be very important information for them to have. So if you can, write down like the date and the time, what the weather was like outside. Was it windy? Was it just quiet, foggy? Whatever details you can give. And I'm kind of interested in the whistling. What kind of whistles is that? Because I know that Bigfoot has been known to whistle or imitate birds with different kinds of whistling. But looks like we've got Lisa. Michael Beer says, Lisa, reach out to me tomorrow on Facebook so I can get more information and discuss this with you. Michael's got 40 years of experience in the field, and be happy to see. Thanks, Michael. And he may be able to help point you in the right direction. It's kind of funny. I'm thinking about Corey's question about Dogman or Bigfoot, and then you've got this kind of stuff going on. So who knows? But whatever you can do to try and document anything you can. Mike, also Corey, reach out about your question as well, and that's great. Thanks for the help there. So yeah, whatever you can do to try and document, that's going to be key there. Hey, we're going to take a quick station break here. It's 22 past the hour. We got to pay the station bills, of course. When we come back, we'll get to more of your questions, and hopefully I'll have answers for you. But we're on WLTK-DB.com. This is the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Peter Orbea. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a minute.
Meet Nicole Strickland, one of the leading San Diego paranormal researchers. Nicole offers a gentle and humble approach to working with spirit energies. Being the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, Nicole is no stranger to the unknown. Due to Nicole's vast knowledge of the paranormal, she is widely sought after for speaking engagements on topics like Children of the Paranormal, Paranormal Investigation 101 and 102, History of Spiritualism, and more. Not only does Nicole research the afterlife, but also writes about it, and is the author of several books pertaining to the paranormal and its history. She has appeared on television shows like My Ghost Story, Travel Channel's Famously Afraid, Good Morning San Diego, and more. Have a conference or event coming up? Contact Nicole on her website, authorNicoleStrickland.com. That's authorNicoleStrickland.com.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Peter Orbea. We're on episode 50. Can't believe it. Right here on WLTK-DB.com and all over the internet. Wherever they're streaming, just /WLTK-DB, and you'll find us there. And please be sure to check out the other shows on the station as well. There's a lot of great programming throughout the week. So please definitely check that out. And like I said before, if you've got an open mind or you're looking to have a more open mind, this is a great place to be right here on this station. So I'm kind of taking audience questions. We had some technical difficulties getting our special guest in tonight, Ginger Lockwood. If we can't get her before the end of the show, we will definitely reschedule her, because I want to hear about her experiences with Bigfoot and the forest in general. So we'll definitely get her rescheduled there. So I'm kind of taking some questions, and looks like my producer Michael Beers is on there, willing to help some of you with questions, especially with cryptid type activity. And he's got a great perspective and a ton of experience with all this. So thanks for helping out, Mike. And I got another comment here from one of my best bros, Brandon Brown. He just lost a loved one, was talking to get back. Sorry for your loss, Brandon, and we'll definitely talk when I get back in town. Another comment from Janice. I met you at the Fifth Oregon Growth Conference. I was there with my sister, and you were next to me on a panel about our experiences. Oh, yes, I remember. Thank you for reminding me. Apparently, I suffer from CRS. Can't remember. But cool. Well, thanks for joining the show and listening and asking questions. And, you know, I guess one thing I would want to touch on is like for my friend Brandon, who just lost someone and wants to talk to somebody about it. You know, over the past couple of years, as you know, many more people have been lost. Family members, friends, parents, kids, you know, very sad. And so if you're out there and you're looking to get a reading from a psychic medium, let me give you some tips that may help the process and may help for a successful reading. First of all, one of the first things I learned is that if you go to someone who guarantees things, it might not be the best fit for you, because it doesn't always work like that. And I'll say, you know, a caveat to that is it doesn't always, like for me, you know, it works a lot, but sometimes it just doesn't work. So if you want to go somebody and they're guaranteeing something, they're guaranteeing that you're going to get the best reading of your life, you're going to get all this information. Take a step back and maybe think about, is that the right person for you? A couple of other things. Yes, can't remember stuff. Thanks, Melissa, for commenting and watching. Some things that can help you to get a successful reading is it's real common sense. When you think about it, is you want to be relaxed. If you go into a reading situation with somebody, you know, they're probably trying to really reach out to connect to somebody for you. It's somebody specific or just in general. But, you know, the big thing is for you, the person getting the reading, is to try and be just as relaxed and open as possible. Sometimes it can be hard to do that. You know, if you're really emotional, it can be really hard to stay relaxed and keep an open mind. And then at that point, if you're too emotional about something that you want to get a reading for, it might not be the right time. You want to try and be relaxed and calm, so that you can, you know, you're open, your energy is open. Because when you're not relaxed or you're, you know, clammed up, it's like a brick wall goes up, and then it's really hard for the reader to receive a message or see anything or hear anything if you've got this brick wall up. So really try and be relaxed. And I think it's cool to take notes. I've had clients that, you know, wanted to record the reading, and that could really help for going back. A lot of what people experience during a reading, especially if they're not experienced getting readings, is, you know, the reader will say, you know, I'm picking up on a Jonathan who's, you know, he was 84 when he passed, and they start giving you all these details. Well, in your mind, you're focused on maybe what you were trying to get a reading for, and you don't remember, oh, my grandfather's name was that. He was 84 when he passed on. It's almost like psychic amnesia. And so it's you know, take notes, you know, or if the person doing the reading is writing down a lot of stuff, writing down notes, drawing images, doing signatures of names, take pictures of those notes before you leave, because the next day or later that night or whatever, you may have a light bulb go off in your head and go, oh, I do know who this person is. And then you've got all the record of what else was said. Some people might not be cool with you doing an audio recording, and that's fine, but maybe just take notes. But audio recording, you'll catch everything. You'll catch everything coming in there. And that way, you know, when you review it later and had some time to sleep on it, you know, things might make, you know, make more sense to you. But you just try and be relaxed. And that, I mean, that's the best advice, you know, I can think to give you is to be relaxed, know what you're going for. We talk a lot on this show about setting your intention. So, you know, why do you want to get a reading? You know, is it for something specific? You know, kind of figure that out before you go get a reading. And then that way your intention is set, and which also may make things easier for the reader as well. Same thing if you're getting a tarot reading, you know, be open, be relaxed. Most professional psychic mediums, you know, if there's something that gets too personal, they may ask, you know, if it's okay to bring up something very personal. I know that makes a lot of people nervous. You know, that the psychic's just going to say something crazy that's very personal and something that they probably don't want everybody to know. So you can always, you know, say, no, I don't want to hear anything like that. Or hopefully the person you're getting a reading from will have the professional attitude to ask before getting into something super personal, like from your past, if that comes through. And if that's coming through, that may have meaning for you. But just try and be relaxed. Try and be relaxed. That's the best thing you can do. I've got another comment. Valerie, thanks for listening. Is there a term for when a spirit connects and leaves a mark, like you're bruised, handprint specifically in this scenario? Well, it would be like a physical touch. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I know there's a term, but I can't think of it right now. I'm having psychic amnesia. Well, I would ask, what was the circumstances around this experience? Was a handprint, you know, was it left on you? Was it left on an object? You know, was it on your person or an object? What were the circumstances around that? Were you, you know, really thinking about someone in particular? Did they have a tendency to be very physical in life? That could be carrying on the other side. Feel free to answer that as we continue on. I know there's a term. I'll probably think about it in the middle of the night tonight and be like, oh, that's what it's called. But it does happen, physical touch. And, you know, you see on a lot of the TV shows and stuff, scratching or getting scratched. I know that in Port Gamble, there was a zombie movie filmed there, 2008, Zombies of Mass Destruction. Go check that out. I think it's on FearNet usually, or just Google Zombies of Mass Destruction. Cool movie. And during the production of that, one of the female, I think she was a set manager, had gone into the basement of the Walker Ames house. And when she had stepped off of the bottom step, there, you know, she felt like she had like a Charlie horse, like a burning Charlie horse. And they, you know, she pulled her pant leg up and there was a red handprint on her calf muscle as if somebody grabbed her. So can you, if you're comfortable, give us some more details, Valerie, and maybe we can chase it from there. And producers working with our guests to see if we can get technical issues worked on there. Dave, thanks for watching and commenting. I swear an orb just went right to left on the screen, your left shoulder, and went to your left. Watched the playback about 30 seconds ago. I think I saw that too. I am in a hotel room that seems to be pretty clean, but there could be some dust floating around. I saw that it did kind of come into light and then out of light right in front of the screen. So maybe we'll see. Um, maybe we'll see it again. Keep an eye on a good eye. Keep an eye and let me know if you guys see it again. Let's see. Janice, again, thank you. Have you been on an investigation where no claims could be validated? Perhaps you wonder about the person's sanity. Yes. Well, I've been on paranormal investigations of historic places where like nothing happened, and that doesn't mean that there's something not there. But speaking to your question about perhaps you wonder about that person's sanity, and hopefully before you do an investigation, you spend some time with the client, probably video call or maybe in person, and you have a form. It's good to have some template form of investigation, client interview questions. And usually through an interview process, if you can be devoted to the interview process and remember how important it is, you can probably get a good gauge on a person just going through the interview process. And it's always good to, if with permission, of course, to audio or video record someone's interview, because you'll pick up on things that maybe you didn't notice while you were writing answers down. You don't see the person's facial expressions. Maybe they show some sort of nervousness or something that might imply lying if they're trying to hoax you. Through a lengthy interview process, you can also, you do have to ask tough questions. Are they, and hopefully they're willing to answer, but you want to ask in your interview if the person is, had a history of any mental health issues, or if they, what medications they take, because certain medications have different side effects that can cause hallucinations, visual or audio hallucinations. There's just a lot of different side effects, and everybody reacts to different prescription drugs, differently. So my answer to that would be, if nothing happened, well, maybe it just wasn't meant to happen at that time. Maybe if there is spirits in this location where you're investigating and nothing happens, maybe they went somewhere. Maybe they went out to dinner somewhere, their favorite old restaurant. But if you don't get anything, all that means is you didn't get any evidence from the data you collected. But hopefully through a lengthy interview process, be devoted to that. It's super important. You can figure out, get a good gauge on somebody, if they're, trying to hoax you, which hopefully they're not, but you can get a good gauge on, maybe is there something else going on that's not spirit related, but it's actually medically related there. So I hope I answered that for you. Let's see. Oh, and Valerie says so this handprint happened to a friend, and was there any, I'll ask this, was there any sensation of the person that this happened to? Did they feel it? Did they feel hot? Was it cold? Painful? Did it make them numb? Whatever. Give some more details there. And I see more comments coming in. And quick shout out, Michael Laciana. How you doing, Michael? He's got the Heritage Hunters Journey Through the Past show that's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. And he's going to have a new episode up this spring, which I am anxiously awaiting. But thanks for listening, Michael, as always. And okay, here we go. So in Olala Hidden Cemetery, I saw a figure, and we believe she followed and got our friend's shoulder. Myself and another were ahead of Jared exiting down the path. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder, and we found the print after getting home. Okay, so he felt something cold. So if you're worried about something following you, I guess try and take note of any sort of weird activity that you experience. Since leaving there, try and take note and document whatever you can. It is a very common thing that people talk about who are supposedly touched by a spirit, that it's very cold. So that sensation, would kind of maybe start pointing as evidence towards a possible spirit physical contact. But I think there's probably more information that would be needed, other than just the cold touch. When that happened, was there any visions? Did he see anything in his mind? Did he hear anything right away? That sort of thing. So it is a common claim by people who have supposedly been touched by spirit that it's very cold. And I think I've only had that experience once, believe it or not. And what it was is I felt that a child spirit giving me a hug. And I had no way to physically prove that, or I didn't have any other corroborative evidence, but I was asking if she wanted to give me a hug and if she needed a hug. And it was a younger, probably it's like 10-year-old spirit. And I had told her that, she didn't be afraid of me and that I was a dad. And I had a baseball cap on as usual. And I held that out and asked if she wanted to check out my hat. And then I asked if she needed a hug. And what I felt was frigid cold that kind of started at the sides of my waist and then kind of wrapped around my back. And I even felt a little bit of a nudge backwards. But it was just so cold. I remember it sent shivers through me. It was so cold. So just based on that, it's possible that there was spirit contact there. Hopefully that kind of answers that. And Lance, hey Tammy and Lance, thanks for watching. You guys are big supporters of the show, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so it looks like we got a reschedule for Ginger. We got technical difficulties, and it's probably the moon. I'm going to blame it on the moon. And I mentioned at the beginning of the show, man, it was an incredible moonrise tonight. So let's just go. We'll blame it on the moon, or the internet goblins have got us again. So continuing on, if there's any more questions, go ahead and drop them in there. We talked a little bit about, best things you can do to help get a successful psychic reading. And if anybody out there has not had one before, go ahead and comment that you've never had a psychic reading before and where you're from. And then if you have any questions about it, maybe you've been thinking about it, but not quite sure what to do. So yeah, just fire away on the comments there and gladly try and answer for you. And I'm thinking about the spirit that I think hugged me and what that felt like. I'm so cold. Has anybody else ever had that? Think they've got a hug or or ever been touched? What did that feel like for you? Maybe that will help Valerie here. So if you feel like you've been touched by a spirit, what did that feel like? Was it hot? Was it cold? So I've heard of both, experienced the cold one. But see if we can shed some light on that for Valerie there. And Grant, hey Grant, thanks for watching, man. So he says he has not had a psychic reading, and he's in Portland, Oregon. Well, there's a lot of great psychics down there. If you are ever interested, you want to contact William Becker at paranormalinsights.net. Or you can contact Seth Michael, SethMichaeladvisor.com. And there's many more down in that area there. But I've worked a lot with these two guys, and really trust them. So Grant, if you're thinking about getting a reading, figure out why you want to get a reading. Is it for someone specific, or are you looking for direction in your life, or just general contact with anybody on the other side that helps look after you? So contact one of those guys, paranormalinsights.net or SethMichaeladvisor.com. And if you do get a reading from one of those guys, like I said, just try and be relaxed and let them know what you're looking for. And hopefully you'll message me sometime and say that you got a reading and that it changed your life, right? Hopefully we can go there. And Grant says, oh, he's handheld ice cold. Plus Jeanette and I've had experiences at the Palace Hotel in Port Townsend. Amazing place. That is a really cool place. Now, I stayed in supposedly the most haunted room in the hotel and slept like a baby. I didn't experience anything. But I did see a woman at the top of the main staircase going up to the second floor. Saw her and then she was gone. And I also feel like I saw a gentleman dressed in like 1930s, 20s, 30s era attire going up the stairs to the upper floors. Had a fedora and kind of like a long coat, and then he was just gone. But Grant says, okay, so he's had the ice cold feel as well. Interesting. And my friend Brandon hasn't had a reading either. Had negative experiences with those in the afterlife throughout my life. And he's coming out of Port Orchard there. And Brandon may be a magnet for ghosts, which can be daunting. So I'll get your first reading, Brandon. There we go. Let's see. We've got more here. Wow. Lance, thanks for commenting. It says he was scratched at Fort Worden Hospital. I don't remember it being cold or anything, but the scratch felt hot and it was quick to appear. So probably almost like, I'm guessing, like if you were to kind of, scratch yourself, it shows up pretty quickly. But the scratch felt hot. And see, I've heard that before. And that, I think is when it's hot, that's, all the little tiny blood vessels in your skin breaking or getting damaged. It typically will feel hot. So interesting that you got scratched there, and hopefully it wasn't anything really negative. Let's see, we've got another comment from Valerie. Thanks. So I'm guessing the spirit you guys think you may have encountered at the Olala Cemetery seemed to linger. Let's see. Seemed to linger where I was living until I left house and moved out of state. Okay. I felt presence like a person sitting on me, and I could move. Other times the lamp knob rolled up and down to adjust the light. Oh, that's nice. Hopefully it was for what you were wanting. I had seen a little white gowned figure while I was in the cemetery looking over the ravine. I saw lots of rebar stakes, and they're just painted red amongst 1800s through 1920s headstones. I really think the spirit was a little girl who wasn't ready to rest yet, like she didn't want to be. Comment cut off. Forgotten is what I'm guessing you're going to say. We missed our last station break here, but I'm just powering through. I think some spirits probably, if they don't want to be forgotten, or there's like some unfinished business, that, they'll hang around and try to get anybody's attention that they can, or feel like anybody who they feel will help them. So interesting. Let's see. Michael Ginger says, hello, everyone. I'm so sorry she had problems connecting. We'll definitely get Ginger back on. Like I said, I want to hear about her experiences. So, Ginger, if you're watching, listening out there, the internet goblins got us, but we'll eventually beat them because we'll have you back on the show. Thanks for all the comments, you guys. So Janice, during my time living in a haunted house, I was touched numerous times. I was swatted on the butt as I was getting in the shower, and that was cold. Very nice. Way to go, spirit. I was scratched as I slept and woke up with my arm burning. I had 3 scratch marks that bled. Ouch. And we had numerous investigations. So, yeah, I mean, I think all the stories I've heard about people getting scratches, it does feel hot. So that's interesting. And then the touch is cold. I don't know what the difference would mean, why a scratch is hot, other than the only thing I can think of is your, little blood vessels all over you. If those are getting broken or cut, that typically feels hot. If you've ever kind of cut yourself with a knife or something, doesn't it usually tend to feel hot? So it'd be interesting to research, a lot of reports out there and kind of look for the patterns. Is everybody reporting scratching, reporting that it is a hot sensation? Is everybody who's reporting a touch situation that it's cold? I know there's a lot of information out there, so that'd be cool to research. It kind of gives me something to think about too, and see if there's any sort of documentation out there as to why maybe scratches is hot and touches are cold. So that's awesome. And Valerie's clarifying that so like something was sitting on her and could not move, kind of like a paralysis type situation. And I know we've talked about that on the Haunted Voices show, sleep paralysis. And so do some Googling on that for any, documentation on that from a medical standpoint and from a spiritual standpoint, because I know that, sleep paralysis, it can be a medical condition, but, it fits what people claim a lot about not being able to move when they're in bed, or when they're sitting there. I've had, a couple of experiences of spirit, kind of the weight of, the quote unquote weight of the spirit, the energy of the spirit really just pushing me down to where I in my chair to where I couldn't really sit back up. And that's not a good feeling. So do some Googling on that and, look at the medical condition side of it. And then, the factors that can lead to that. And did you have any of those factors going on that could lead to the medical side of it? See if there's anything there that you can find. See, plus blood rushes to areas of injury, so heat would be present. Right. So that's another thing too. When you get a bruise or anything, blood rushes to that area, and you can get that kind of. If you ever been, hit something and you later had a bruise, it probably felt pretty hot right away. That's what icing's all about, right? So that could be with scratches and bruises why they may feel hot there. Valerie, exactly. Thank you. The blood in that area will make it get warm even if the skin is not broken, and it happens rapidly. So that may, again, lend to why a scratch might feel hot, or if you've get bruises, try and, if you're in an investigation setting or maybe in your house, when it first happens, if you get a scratch, really examine the area you were just in. Try and repeat the motions. If you were walking through a space, maybe you were, holding an EMF meter, or maybe you were walking through your house, with a drink. Retrace your steps, retrace your movements. And is there anything that you could have brushed against? And, if there's anything you could have brushed against, take that as, strong information that you may have inadvertently brushed against something. If you don't find anything that you could have brushed up against, or, check your sleeves too. Make sure there's nothing like, in your shirt or your pants, like a seam, like a hard piece of thread sticking out that may have done it. Really examine everything. And if you don't find anything like that, what else could you say that you experienced along with that scratch? Did you all of a sudden have a million butterflies in your stomach? Did you get a headache? Did you see somebody that, you don't know, or somebody you haven't thought of in 30 years, or whatever it might be? What else could go along with it? So if you get scratched, again, just try and examine everything you can, retrace your steps, retrace your movements. Once you start eliminating that stuff, what else did you experience other than the sensation of a scratch? Was there anything else, anything come into your mind? Did you hear something? Did you think you heard something? And then just try and write it all down, because if it keeps happening and then you go to a paranormal investigator for help, you've got some documentation. And that's really what it's all about, is having the information to share with somebody if you're reaching out. Yeah, Michael Beers again, document. Yep, photos. Take as many photos as you can. Time, date, area of injury, and the location of the event. Can you take pictures of the area surrounding you? You may see something in the photo that you didn't see as you're looking around, because you're freaked out that you just got scratched. Another great point too is to measure the scratches and bruises. Yeah, Brandon comments: Zombies of Mass Destruction, filmed in Port Gamble, is free to watch on the app Tubi. There we go. There it is. I knew it was somewhere. It used to be on FearNet. Thanks, Brandon, for sharing that. And it's on the Tubi app. And also give Brandon a shout out. He's one of my bandmates, and our band is Steady Rock Cosmonaut. So check out steadyrockcosmonaut.com. And in the intro, the song you hear is our song called Magic off our first album, The Sleeper Awakens. So if you go to steadyrockcosmonaut.com, all one word, you can check out the music there. If you liked it, hopefully you liked it. But big shout out to Brandon, fan bro. And Lance, we investigators love it when other people do the work for us. Yes. Yeah, see, it's they found us out, Lance. Which we're always trying to get people to document things, and that it makes our job easier. But it really does. Documenting stuff in your own house, if you're having experiences, like Lisa with the growling and the whistling and stuff, anything you can document. Any sort of, if you think you've had some sort of Bigfoot or spirit or alien or cryptid or whatever weird experience you think you have, if you can document it, that will play an important role as you go further into trying to figure out what it was that you saw or felt or experienced. So definitely document everything you can. And that's advice that good paranormal investigators give people. A lot of times it's, what you want to do is, if you've got something going on and you call a paranormal team to try and get them to come investigate, oftentimes they will have you try and, do a logbook and journal, write down your experiences for 2 months, a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, depending on what they suggest. And then that way, one of the cool things about doing that over a longer period of time, if you're not totally freaked out with what's going on, take the time to spend some time and log all this stuff down, time and date, the location you were, if it's in your house, was it in your living room? Was it in the kitchen? Was it in the bedroom? Where was it at? What was the experience? And also, what was the weather like outside? So a lot of times with strange noises at night, if you start to note down what the weather was like, you may notice okay, this whistling I'm hearing or whatever this, this banging sound, oh, it always happened when it was windy out. Well, then that helps you go outside of your house and take a look. And maybe you got a tree branch scratching on a window, which makes kind of a whistling sound, or maybe you've got a tree branch that's smacking the house if it's windy, and that can help solve your things. But the important thing is to document. That way, by the time you call a paranormal investigator or return back to a paranormal investigation team with your log, they might be able to help where to look, what to look for, and they'll just be able to better help you. So definitely check that out. Um, and also document Tracy Kennedy from Big River Paranormal. Thanks for watching. Also, important thing to add too is what were you doing just before the incident? That's another important thing to add to any sort of journaling. What were you doing just before the incident? Oh, well, I had about a 12-pack of beer and then I fell down. I'm joking, of course, but that's important too. So thanks for bringing that up. And we are at the end of the show. Wow, that went quick. We will definitely get special guest Ginger Lockwood back on the show. And I'm taking next week off, but I'll be back in February. So next week I'll be announcing shows for February, and I'm going to have an exciting lineup. And this year is going to be so much fun. We're going to have a lot of really fun guests and engaging conversations. That's what it's all about, is sharing stuff. And real quick, Michael said we used to have a scribe on the team following us around. Yeah, somebody dedicated to just taking notes and writing stuff down. That way the investigators, so the investigators can do the investigating and somebody else is writing it down. So thanks for that. But so I'll be back beginning of February here on WLTK-DB.com. And I always leave a show with a toast, and that is: the past is history and the future is a mystery. But today's a gift because it's the present. We're all busy in our lives. Don't forget to take a little bit of time each day, even if it's just a minute, to be present, be in the moment, be with the people you're around. Look at what you've got. Just be there in the moment, and it's very helpful to do that. So just don't forget to be present at some point every day. And we'll see you in February on the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea. Check out all the other shows on the station, and we're coming to you from WLTK-DB.com. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the comments, and we'll see you soon.